heartfelt sentiment, since we're in the heart sharing place right now, and that is that I am so grateful to be here. I think I mentioned last time that this was a little bit of a coming out again party for me, because I've been sort of retired, semi-retired for a couple of years, and it's good. It's good to be. It's good to be here. Here we are. This I wrote last night. So, in regards to your comment, I think I painted myself in the corner a little bit with this mandala, because now I'm so into it that I can't go anywhere without it. I promise I'm not going to bring it every time I come, but I wanted to kind of refer a little bit so we have some, but I'm not going to end up buying a ticket on the airplane for this thing when I travel. I promise, I'm not that. So let's do a quick little recap of the last time I was here about what this is all about. I know some of you were not here. And this can represent a lot of different things, but the way that we were using it, the way that we talked about it, was that this represents the one becoming the many. The still point, the point of pure spirit and being manifesting itself in the created universe in an intricate, beautiful, mysterious, interrelated, complex way that we understand and we don't understand. And that we're in it, we're part of it. This is oneness. There's only one thing happening, and we're in it. We are it. And the way that we're using the mandala is to say, well, we're really actually kind of on the edge of this. Like, we can be on the edge where everything looks separate. If you look at the little dots down here, it appears as though we're separate, but in fact, there's something that is keeping us together in sort of a dance. We talked about the dance of the electron, the neutron, the positron. We talked about the dance of the human body, trillions of cells dancing together, cooperating to make something new and alive come forth. And for the sake of our time together, I want to talk about what it is that keeps this all together. The shorthand for it would be love. But not the love that we talk about in terms of our emotional self. Although that's part of it. More like the way Charles Fillmore used it, that binding, healing power that produces growth. So just to recap the final aspect of what we talked about last time, we talked about deep listening as a practice out here in the periphery, when in the appearance of separation, to listen from the heart, not only with our heads, our ears, but listen with the heart. The heart, is the balance point of all 7 chakras. It's where heaven meets earth, where the divine meets the human. And as we listen from the heart, our listening can become more complete. As we listen to each other, our listening deeply, our listening can become more complete. Because you can also look at this as you and I in a circle around something. And we all see it from a different perspective, don't we? And that could be true. That's true of all human beings. We see things differently. And in the listening, then, our listening can become complete. Do you understand? As we share what we see, what we feel, how we are, and listen deeply to that, then our listening can. So listen. We're called to listen within. Are we not? Listen deeply to that voice of spirit, that gentle prompting, however it shows up for you. That's a part of deep listening. We're called to listen to what is manifesting around us in the world. How many of you have gotten inspiration, clarity, guidance in a walk in nature somewhere? Listen for the signs that are all around us, all the time, helping to guide us, to clarify, and especially listening to human beings, which is often the hardest thing to listen to. Listening to each other in a deep way, and listening in particular to those that we do not want to hear. I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. When we refuse to listen to the people we don't want to listen to, what happens? Our perspective becomes narrower, doesn't it? It's a contraction. It's a protection. It's a wall. But when we listen openly to whatever is we're present to, then it's an expansion. It's an opening, a new possibility. Listening deeply. Well, so today we're going to take a different tack. We're going to talk about speaking. Speaking from the heart. Speaking from the true heart. That balance point in our human relations. One of the things I said last time was, this idea of polarity, this dance of positive, negative, good, bad, that dance extends all the way out to our human relationships. And that's where we're going to focus today. Speaking the truth, speaking your truth in love. So, let's start with a story. Imagine yourself at a party. And in the course of your meanderings through the party, you overhear the person who brought you saying to someone else, "Oh man, she is really a slob." Or he is really a slob. So on the ride home, what do you say? What do you do? Be honest. Be honest with yourself. This is an opportunity for growth. Martin Luther said, "Our lives begin to end the moment we keep silent about the things that really matter." So if your relationship matters to you, as we keep silent about it, it begins to wear away. It begins to erode. It begins to disconnect. So we're going to work with the idea of speaking from the heart, speaking your truth. Jesus said, or the Gospel of John quotes Jesus as saying, let's put it that way, "If you abide in my word, you will be my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Yeah. What is the truth that he's talking about? How does it set us free? What does it set us free from? Well, for the sake of our conversation today, let's just say he was talking about this. That he was talking about the oneness of the universe, that God is, that we're in God, we live and dwell in God. And he sets us free from what? From our own limitations, from our own constraints, reservations, reactions, fear. It sets us free to be the awareness that God is in all, God is in us, God is in everyone, everything is God, everything, even the people we don't want to listen to. So for today, we're going to do a working definition of truth. I'm going to talk to you today about the big T truth and the small t truth. And the big T truth is the universal spiritual principles. Right? That's the truth that sets us free. That God is, that my essence is good, all of the principles that we study and practice, that that faith and spirituality, even religion, is not necessarily some blind devotion, but there are also principles that we can practice, and put to work, and transform our lives, transform our families and communities, and transform our world. So that's the big T truth. What's the small t truth, do you think? The small t truth that's the divine. That's the divine truth. The small t truth has more to do with what's happening in our lower chakras, like how I really feel right now. The truth of my human nature, which Jennifer shared so sweetly with us just a moment ago. And to be able to speak both the big T truth and the small t truth. The small t truth is emotional honesty. Emotional honesty. Understanding what it is you're feeling. And then why? What is causing that feeling to arise? Because as Jennifer said, feelings are information. Something in me is responding, reacting one way or another way. I'm rejecting this, I'm accepting this, I'm happy, I'm sad. There's something going on in our emotional nature, which is a vital and important tool in our spiritual journey to understand what is really happening in our divine human nature. What's happening underneath the surface. And to be able to speak that as well. I know that God is in the situation at the school. I know it. I know it. And yet, I'm also terrified. I'm terrified. And if I can speak to you that way, or in that mode, then we can come closer together rather than being separated by our feelings. So I did a little experiment with this a couple of years ago. I invited two of my friends to set aside a time in a, quote, neutral location. Not that we needed a neutral location, but and I invited them. I said, tell me all the things that you want to tell me, but you just haven't been able to tell me. Okay, I'm here. I know you love me. I love you. It's not going to affect our friendship, I hope. And just do it. Oscar Wilde said, "Your true friends stab you in the front." You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, they'll tell it to you. Your true friends will tell you what's what. So we had that experience. Tell me the things that you haven't, things that maybe you wish you had. And they did. And what truth was I asking for, do you think, from them? The big T or the small T truth? The small T truth, right? I mean, the big T truth is very helpful. Hold that in the context, But I wanted them to give me the small T truth. And it's really a gift, isn't it? To be able to see yourself from the perspective of those around you, those closest to you. And it wasn't. I mean, they were willing, but they didn't really jump into it. You know what I'm saying? There was a little bit of what? What are you asking me to do? Like that. And what do you think that's from? Why is that? Why would there be hesitation? Fear. Fear of what?
Don't want to hurt your
Hurt my feelings, right? They're going to hurt my feelings.
A reaction.
They're going to I'll have a reaction somehow.
Yes. They might feel embarrassed.
They might be embarrassed. I might be embarrassed. Someone might get embarrassed.
You
God
lose your
forbid.
happiness.
What's that?
You lose your happiness.
You lose my happiness. Yeah. We might lose our friendship. Oh.
Yes.
So all those fears are at work. And I don't know about you, but I was certainly acculturated not to do that.
Yeah.
In fact, I think our family, my family, the Cordry family, is particularly good at not saying. You know, there are things that are going on in the family that have been going on for years, big things, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody is talking about that. So we're all in this acculturation, this familial acculturation, this cultural acculturation. That's probably redundant, but anyway, we're all in that, and they had some reservations, but we're able to take some advice from Don Miguel Ruiz in his book, The Four Agreements. And he says, it's not what I'm saying that's hurting you. I'll repeat that. It's not what I'm saying that's hurting you. It is that you have wounds that I touch by what I have said. There's no way I can take this personally. You are hurting yourself. So, back to the party. Back to the party. If I carry, and we all do, some form, a wound, scabbed over, newly poked, that statement, oh boy, he's such a slob. If that touches on something that's already raw, already there, already present, especially that, it's going to produce reaction. It's going to produce disconnection. And, you know, if you're to spend the rest of your day, or the rest of the party rather, figuring out, whoa, what, that's going to be a chilly ride home, or, oh, I'm going to let her have it when we get in that car. Or you might, you know, take a moment to maybe go outside, take some deep breaths, and say, well, is this true? Byron Katie's philosophy, is this true? Am I a slob? Am I a little bit of a slob? You might ask yourself, has this come up between us face to face? Has this person already told me, hey man, I can't even go in your house, you know? But is it there? Is it real? Am I making an effort? Have I tried to be better at that? Really the question is, the deeper question is, what is causing that reaction? What is it in me that still needs to be healed? Maybe Mom used to tell me that. You know, you live in a pigsty. And all of that within the context of this relationship that you're in. Because, you know, if this is a person that you hardly know and that you don't really, you know, you're not really engaged or trying to create a deeper relationship with them, you may not say anything. It's perfectly fine. You don't have to say anything. But if it's important to you, if it's one of those important things, then it's time to speak the truth in love. So the first time I gave this talk, it was right around the time that my daughter, who lives in Kansas City, was coming to visit me and the family, and there's family around here, you know. So, and she's got a short time, she's got a big agenda, and I'm giving this talk about speaking from the heart and the familial nature of listening, or not listening, and speaking. And I made an invitation to her. This was when I was the principal at Shine Spiritual Center in Cape Cod. And I said to Sarah, well, you know, I'd be great if you could come. I know you got a lot of things that you're trying to get done. You're trying to see everybody. And, you know, everybody can choose. Everybody makes their own choice. It's fine. And Jeannie, my intrepid mirror, said unto me, you're doing it. You're doing the very thing that you're trying to teach people. what do you really feel? What is your small
Yeah.
T truth about this?
Please come.
And I wasn't acknowledging my small. I really wanted my daughter there. I wanted her there. And so I remade the invitation. I called back and I said, well, I have to be honest. I really, really want you here. I really want you. And of course, it mattered. It made a difference. She showed up. It was great. But that was an example of just like that, what we call a spiritual bypass, where we go right from the event to the big T truth and bypass all our feelings. You may have done that. I know I've done that. I know our people have done that. Spiritual people, spirity people, we want to just leap to the big T truth, because I'll take refuge in the big T truth, and I don't have to feel this awful feeling that I have inside. But there's no power in that. The power is generated here in the heart between the meeting of the divine and the human, and the acceptance of the divine human nature. And what does that do for us? Well, it sets us free. It sets us free from worry. I can speak my truth. You don't have to do anything. It doesn't obligate you. I can make a request. It doesn't enforce a response out of you. You can speak your truth without blaming or shaming anyone, including yourself. It's not avoiding, not watering down. It's speaking true words from your heart, aware that it may cause discomfort, embarrassment, all those other terrible states of being that we all have all the time. So, how is it going to be in the car on the way home? How's it going to go? Well, there's all kinds of possibilities, aren't there? But let's just say that this is an important relationship that we want to continue to grow and to nurture. So, could you say something that is both emotionally honest and grounded in the spiritual principles? Could you actually say, I couldn't help but overhear what you said about me being a slob? Pause. And I have to tell you, I felt so terrible. I felt so shamed and embarrassed. But I took a moment to think about it. And I realized, this has come up for me before, and it's touching on something in me that is old. So I just want to ask you, I want to make a request. If there's something about me that is bothering you, would you please tell me? And if you have to tell somebody else, tell me you're going to tell them. but speak to me. I can take it. I want it. I respect you. I respect our relationship. I want us to continue. Now, what kind of space does that leave for you? It's not cold and dark. It's not red hot and angry. It is open. It is filled with compassion, love, and possibility. So we're here to both listen from the heart and speak from the heart. And all of this is an opening. It opens us. It brings this here. I love how the emphasis that your community has on being it.
Yeah.
And so this is just a way of being it, like an example of how to be it. it provides an opportunity for others to do the same thing. Like my daughter, for example, as she sat and listened to that talk, like my friend in the car, for example. It provides them with a model, because we don't have a lot of emotionally mature models. Certainly, the popular media doesn't provide us with much. It helps us to move past these familial and cultural limitations into a new realm of relationship. It sets us free to be our authentic selves, regardless of the conditions, regardless of what happens. If I can find my humanity, if I can find my divinity and connect there, I can be authentic. It brings happiness. It brings happiness. It is actually a step into that new humanity that we rapped on about last time. I'm going to close with a quote from Dorothy Thompson, who was an author and speaker. And she says, "Only when we're no longer afraid do we begin to live." Only when we're no longer afraid do we begin to live. And we know that truth is like all of the spiritual truths. Sometimes we're out here and we're terrified. But if we can bring ourselves back to center, we can live, truly live, rather than hide and truly hide. So my prayer and my hope and my wish for all of us is that we have the presence of mind to use everything, every experience, every supposedly negative interaction as an opportunity to grow, to speak our truth in love, and to be the light of the world. So it is.
So it is.